and welcome to History Fo Show. I'm your host, Devin Frost. I'm here to tell you everything about anything, ever. As the progressive movement chugs along, it has been shown that most fervent supporters of the cause are middle-class men and women. I find it strange that the middle class is crusading for the poorest slum inhabitants. I mean, when you see roadkill outside your car, you don't get out and give it mouth to mouth, you let it die. Leave the lower caste citizens to suffer. It's not our problem. As an increasing amount of bars pop up in major cities, many progressives have voiced their opposition to this, and alcohol in general. Right here in New York City, there's one saloon for every 200 people. Progressives and the Anti-Saloon League consistently try to shut them down and pass more and more dry laws. Why? There's no one thing more essential to my sanity than trusty old rum. After this show, I'll probably head down to the bar close to my house. I mean, I can't even believe what's happening. European customers have begun to refuse American canned meats due to their poor quality and general uncleanliness. This has caught the attention of American citizens, who are now also pressuring meat corporations to ensure better quality. Roosevelt has pushed Meat Inspection Act through Congress, and now meats are inspected thoroughly before shipping. While it may be hard to keep these laws enforced, I have faith in corporations this time.
Oh, here's the next one. Gotta put my brown dye in there. Oh, meat flavoring. And
welcome to my new segment, The Frost Report. Features a prevalent figure in today's society and call him or her out on their shortcomings. Our target today? None other than former president and conservationist Teddy Roosevelt. I would have chosen current President Taft, but the man got stuck in a bathtub. To insult him would be like punching a baby. Just too easy. But back to Roosevelt. A little known fact is, Teddy Roosevelt actually wrote some 30-odd fitness novels in his early 20s, far prior to his political dealings. Don't you think after that much time wasted, he'd remember a thing or two about physical fitness? He's beginning to resemble Taft more and more every day. During his presidency, Roosevelt was known for his stubborn approach to leadership and inability to consider the other point of view. Take, for example, his square deal, when he attempted to control consumers and business all in one fell swoop. I like to refer to it as a square wheel. It didn't go anywhere. Maybe if it had been more well-rounded, it wouldn't have crashed and burned. Despite being out of office, Roosevelt is very vocal when it comes to politics. Many of his enemies have criticized him for being too cocky. Maybe it has something to do with his big stick. And now, former President Roosevelt, you've been frosted. Wait! We have breaking news from downtown New York. A fire has started at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. Our correspondent, Ranjeev Sanjay, is live on the scene. Hello, Devin. I'm here at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in downtown New York City. Minutes ago, an electrical accident triggered this massive blaze, trapping hundreds of women and children workers inside the inferno. Firemen arrived, but were unable to contain the flames. If you listen closely, you can hear the screams of children still entombed inside their fiery grave. Cameraman, will you back up? We are too close. Anyway, back to you, Devin. What a tragedy. We here at HFS send our condolences. This is the end of the news segment. We will be back after a short break.
Has your job been working you to the breaking point? Is city life becoming too much to bear? Visit the majestic American national parks to find peace of mind, adventure, and beauty away from the busy and stressful life of the city. A large variety of parks are available to see, including the Grand Canyon and Yosemite National Park. Call 1-800-RELAX, toll-free to book your vacation today.
Warning, heat stroke, falling incidents, avalanches, animal attacks, Indian attacks, and getting lost are not the responsibility of the National Park Service.
Welcome back to History Fo Show. My name is Win Scora. I'm here with Richard Ballinger and Gifford Pinchot. Gentlemen, what role do you play in the government?
I am the Secretary of the Interior, which pretty much means that I make sure that every inch of our beautiful American land is used to the best of its potential.
I am the Chief of the Agricultural Department's Division of Forestry, which means that I make sure that our beautiful nation isn't completely logged and isn't lost to corporate expansion.
So, how long have you held these positions?
Well, I was chosen by President Taft himself, which means that I have been in office since the very beginning of his presidency.
So, that would be less than a year.
Well, I have held my position for 5 years, but I've worked in forestry since 1896.
What are your opinions on the Forest Reserve Act of 1891?
It is a complete waste of American land. Land that is brimming with natural resources that we need to sustain our people and to fuel our economy. Yes, our country is a beautiful one, but we do not need to stop the flow of perfectly good resources in order to enjoy it.
I think that is a perfectly successful way to preserve our forests. Teddy Roosevelt established tons of national parks in the most beautiful parts of our nation.
Well, recently Taft has been very inconsistent in his treatment of natural resources. Do you think he's doing the right thing?
Well, old TR definitely knew what he was doing in office. Taft needs to focus a little more on the conservation of our lands and resources.
What's the point of natural resources if they're not being used? President Taft is making sure that people have wood to build their houses with and coal to keep them warm, not whether we're conserving natural resources.
Mr. Ballinger, I've heard you're opening public lands in Alaska, Wyoming, and Montana for corporate development.
You what?
Yes, I am, and the president is behind me 100% of the way.
What's your ultimate goal in this?
Well, these lands hold coal that will greatly fuel our economy and add to the prosperity of our nation. I don't know anyone who could just let this land sit around without using this coal. It's money, you know.
That's absolutely outrageous.
Why do you say that?
For more than 20 years, our government has been striving to preserve this land as part of our natural heritage. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call.
Alright.
It's Mr. President. Hello? Hello, Mr. President.
Unfortunately, we won't be requiring your services anymore, Pinchel. You're fired!
Excuse me?
I'm so sorry. Oh no! Oh boy! We'll be back after this commercial break.
Do you know what you and your children eat every single day? Do you know what is actually in that potted ham that you bought for dinner? Can you honestly tell your husband who made that food? Learn the facts, learn the truth, and learn the horror of the American processing plants. Read The Jungle by Upton Sinclair and discover the reality of where your food is actually coming from. This message brought to you by the Progressive Party. Progressive.
Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's installment of History Fo Sho. Tonight, I will be interviewing a nationally syndicated journalist who just came out with a book perpetrating many of the illegal and dubious activities of Standard Oil. Let's give a warm welcome to Ida Tarbell. Welcome to the show tonight. So, Ms. Tarbell, some people are calling you one of the first muckrakers. What do you think about this new style of journalism?
Muckrakers? That's not a correct term. It is very rude to call someone an investigative journalist, nonetheless. Someone who goes around in legal matter.
Okay, so despite your opinion, people still call you muckrakers. The definition of a muckraker is someone who spreads scandal and gossip about someone or something. Whether what you say is true or not, what matters is that the people still eat it up, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, I didn't work away all my life just to have them read it for pleasure. This paper has a purpose. Many people need to know that Mr. Rockefeller has done an horrible, horrible thing.
So you didn't write the history of the Standard Oil Company for reading pleasure, but for actual information?
Yes, of course.
So, is that your only inspiration for writing it?
Well, no. I was inspired by my father's struggles in the oil company, by how Mr. Rockefeller, with his Standard Oil, talked with the railroad companies and inspired them to raise their prices, and then the smaller oil companies had no way of competing with them, considering the railroads were giving them some of the profit from the raised prices. It was unfair and illegal.
Well, no one said anything about being fair in the first place, but, would you say that this is kind of a personal revenge thing? Because, revenge is an amazing motivator.
No. I would not say that it is just personal revenge. It is getting out information and busting those oil companies.
I think you're a better person, Ida. Maybe if your father would have started his business earlier, he could have, he would be in Rockefeller's place right now.
Excuse me? My father was a good person, a better person than you are. At least he didn't lie and cheat to get his way up here.
Okay.
Sure you did.
So, moving on to, women's suffrage. Are you part of the women's suffrage movement?
No, I'm not part of the women's suffrage movement. Why
You're a
would...
woman, aren't you?
I am a woman, but a woman's place is in the home. It's not trying to talk in all those settlement houses about how to vote and how to change the world. I mean, it's okay that they're trying to do good and get rid of child labor and alcoholism, but they don't actually do anything. All that they do is talk in those settlement houses.
Well, hear that, ladies? Straight from Ida Tarbell. Stay in the kitchen. So, Miss Tarbell, thank you for coming on the show tonight. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening.
You
Well,
too, sir.
That was the most hypocritical interview I've done in a long time. Thanks for staying with us tonight, folks. Join us next week for another great installment of History Fo Sho with Jen Frost and Zach Monroe. Good night.